What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's that vlog time once again. That's right, this is episode 47 of my Let's Vape vlog series, where I talk about a whole bunch of different topics, including the vaping industry and my channel and my life and everything else in between. We've got a fairly full show on tap for you guys today, and we're going to be switching it up a little bit later on. But we will start it off with some news and updates. We're going to be announcing the winners of my 25,000 subscriber giveaway, so stay tuned for that. We have some first impressions to do. I've got this guy to look at. This is the joyetech-riftcore-duo. Supposedly these heating elements last 1,000,000 puffs, so we'll be looking into that. We've got some questions. Instead of shout-outs this week, we're going to be doing it a little bit different and going into some questions from you guys, so that is something I'm excited for. Of course, we're going to go over what I've been vaping on this past week, and then we're going to unbox some vape mail. And last but not least, we're going to cap it all off with a random review. So go ahead and get yourself a frosty beverage, grab your favorite vape, sit back, relax, and let's vape. So luckily, no major news stories or advocacy to talk about this week. I mean, it's been a fairly light week after the big shocking drama that happened with the FDA comments period last week. But with that, I would highly encourage you guys to keep checking out CASA.org, because that is personally my central hub for information as far as advocacy news goes. But with that, the comments period for the FDA is still open for a couple more days, and you can still submit your comments about flavored vapor products. So make sure you guys do that. This is last call. Get that done as soon as possible, and get your friends to do it as well, because we need as many as we can get. I know the scandal we talked about last week could potentially get this whole thing thrown out, but that's no excuse to just lay down and give up. We have to keep pushing until the 0 hour here, so make sure you guys go get your comments in, FDA100k.com if you don't already know, and the link is down there in the description below. The next thing on my list of things to talk about is London Vape Show, presented by Vape Finder. That's coming up at the end of August, and I do plan on attending that once again. This is their second show. Really looking forward to this one, because I love hanging out with the guys from the UK, all of the other reviewers, and all the guys from Savs and everything, and you guys out there that watch and love my channel. So can't wait to hang out with you guys once again. The UK is kind of like becoming my second home. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of the city this time. The show is only Saturday and Sunday, and last year it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So pretty much from the moment I landed, I got on the train, headed to the Olympia, and I got off, and there I was right at the show. And then it was just show all 3 days, and by the time I realized it, it was Monday, and I was flying back home. So yeah, I hope to get at least a little bit to kind of get out there and explore a little bit more and get to see some sights and eat some good food and stuff like that. But I know no matter what, it's going to be a good time, because just the people over there and all of my friends that I've made. So yeah, really can't wait for that, guys. Mark your calendars. Make sure you just go check out the website listed right down there in the description. Another thing I wanted to talk about with you guys real quick is potentially doing something a little bit different with the vlog. Sometimes it just feels a little bit too kind of stale and stagnant and just kind of claustrophobic in here in the office. So I was wondering if you guys would be interested in maybe a midweek sort of thing where I just do something in my car on my way to work or something like that, or just something a little bit different. Get out in the world a little bit and see my adventures and what I get up to in my day-to-day life, rather than just staying in this office for half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever at a time, and just kind of getting to know me a little bit better. So that's kind of why I wanted to do a question kind of Q&A sort of thing instead of shout-outs this week, because again, you know, it's me just trying to get you guys to engage with me personally and just get to know me a little bit better. And you know, if there's anything else you guys have for suggestions for the vlog, then just leave them on down there below. And you know, I was kind of thinking about potentially bringing back the beer segment, because I haven't seen anyone else get any problems with their vlogs or anything like that that have beer segments. You know, obviously Bogan still does the beer thing and all of that, so kind of thinking that I might bring it back. But I want some feedback from you guys out there if you would like to see that, or you know, maybe something completely different. I've also kind of thrown it out there with the idea of maybe doing like a once a month snack box, because I really do enjoy enjoy those snack time things, and I know there's services that deliver a box of random snacks to your door, and maybe doing something like that in the vlog. So just let me know your thoughts right down there in the comments box. All right, guys, it's time to announce the winners for my 25,000 subscriber giveaway, and let's just go ahead and change screens real quick. There we go. And as you can see, I've got all of your names listed here, and all of you lovely people are entered for a chance to win an epic prize pack. I will be, of course, giving away 3 of them, and how this is going to work is I'm going to randomize this 3 times. That's 3 times, and I will pick the top 3 people on the 3rd time the list is randomized. So, all right, let's randomize the list. Go. Randomizing, okay. And go down to the bottom again. And let's randomize again. Okay, one more time. Scott Anderson, Ford F-150 / Angelo, and Lisa, oh man, that's a name I can't pronounce, Majecki Weiss. I hope I pronounced that right. I do apologize if I murder your last names, guys. I am terrible with that, as you probably know by now if you've been watching my channel for any length of time. But there we have our winners, Scott, Angelo, and Lisa. So I will be reaching out to you guys individually after this video goes up, and I'll just need proof of age and your address, and you'll have to pay the FDA fee. But once that's all settled, you guys will be getting your prize packs in the very near future. Thank you to everyone who entered. There will be more giveaways to come, so don't worry if you didn't win something. But with that, let's go ahead and move right along. All right, guys, so the first one up is this guy right here. This is the Drop Dead by Hellvape, a collaboration between Vapin' Heathen and Brian from Vapor Chronicles, and they have created something really kind of cool because it's not just a collaboration between the two of them mixing the Drop and the Dead Rabbit. They did add a little bit of innovation with this one, which I was kind of surprised about because, you know, when I looked at the pictures, I said, okay, you know, it has a sort of drop deck with a sort of Dead Rabbit airflow at the top, but with the drop slots instead of the big hole and all that. So I just expected kind of the same old thing, but they did add a little bit of innovation here, which I think is really cool. And it's the fact that the airflow is basically movable. You can actually move that airflow from side to side, and then you can also close it down. So you can basically point your airflow directly at your coils, which I think is a really cool feature, and I'm really glad they did that because I feel like a lot of people would have a problem with just one stagnant sort of airflow section. And, you know, personally, I never really minded the actual drop airflow. I really thought it was a good quality, like, airflow design. But apparently a few people had an issue with that, and they ended up going with more of the Dead Rabbit style. Personally, I kind of preferred the drop airflow over the Dead Rabbit, and I kind of wish they used the drop airflow instead of the Dead Rabbit airflow for the Drop Dead. But you know what? You can't please everyone with this sort of thing. So I'm pretty happy with it, though. It is performing quite well. The one thing that I've noticed so far is when I built it, I built the coils basically directly on top of the posts. Now, I feel like that's not the best way to do it, and I feel like the better way to be doing it would be just kind of bending them in ever so slightly so that the airflow hits it a little bit more directly. And it also has a little bit of an issue with the squonking. When you're squonking it, my bottle right now is fairly empty, and if you push the bottle hard enough and there's an air bubble in it, it could potentially shoot juice out the top. I don't know, it's probably impossible to see that, but even right now, it's shooting little drops of juice out the drip tip here. So yeah, it's going everywhere. So yeah, that's an issue for me. I really feel like that's the biggest con that I have with it right now. It's, you know, it's not a major issue. It's not, you know, something that I'll stop using the Drop Dead over, but I feel like that is an issue that could be easily corrected in a maybe future version or something like that. But I do have a build planned for this one for Fresh Build Friday, so stay tuned for that, guys. It's going to be a good one. One thing I really like about this Drop Dead is how smooth the airflow is. It's not only smooth, but it's also quiet, and I feel like that has to do a lot with the size and shape of these airflow holes here, and they're actually little square holes. They're not actually round holes, so that's kind of cool and unique and just a little bit different as well. So with that, love the smoothness there, and I love the fact that it's super duper quiet because I can't stand a noisy, whistly airflow. Next up is the Joyetech-Riftcore-Duo. Now, this one, for some reason, I always forget the name of it. I don't know why. It's not that difficult of a name to remember, but for some reason, I always just kind of draw a blank when I'm trying to think of what this thing is called. Yeah, this one is quite unique because it has little plates on it that are the heating elements. So rather than having a coil or anything like that, it actually has these little tiny plates that heat up, and I think that's a pretty unique idea. Joyetech definitely pushing the envelope as to what is possible for vaping devices out there, which I absolutely love. Definitely making some new innovations and all of that, which is awesome. So supposedly it will last 1,000,000 puffs, and I've been vaping on this thing all day, and I don't know if I'll ever get to 1,000,000 puffs. I mean, to be honest, you know what, let's just really quickly do the math here. So 1,000,000 puffs divided by the average vapor will puff anywhere from 300 to 400 puffs a day. So let's just go on the higher side there and say 400 puffs a day. It's going to take me 2,500 days, and divide that by years, 365. And it's going to take me almost 7 years to puff on this coil 1,000,000 times. So pretty sure things are going to change in 7 years, but with that, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement there. I really hope it holds up and is true. I'm going to just vape the ever-living crap out of this thing as much as I possibly can before I get to my review of it, and we'll see how it holds up. And as of right now, it is doing really well. You know, I've got a couple hundred puffs on this thing already, and I'm vaping it at 70 watts. Now, let's just go ahead and real quick, just pause and have a quick vape break. So I'm vaping it at 70 watts, and one thing I've noticed over the course of the past few hours is the resistance is constantly changing on me. It was 0.24 before I took that puff, then it jumped up to 0.44, and now it's back down to 0.27, and every single puff I take, it's either, you know, 0.2, 0.3, or 0.4, and it just jumps around a lot. So I really do not like that because you can never really have a good set wattage with this one here. I feel like they're going to have to come up with a whole different system as far as regulation. Perhaps putting it on like a voltage mod, a variable voltage mod or something like that would be ideal for this device. But then again, I just really can't stand the jumping of the ohms. I mean, it's just jumping around way too much for my liking personally, but I still get a pretty consistent puff, which is kind of weird because even at 0.24, 0.25, whatever, all the way up to 0.47, it still gives me a very similar kind of puff and no dry hit. So I really don't know what to say about that at this point. I'm going to have to test it a little bit more and get back to you guys on that one. But the only other thing that I absolutely can't stand about this device is the drip tip. I know that's a silly complaint, but I just really don't like those resin cobra kind of looking drip tips, the snake skin looking ones, especially not the one that came with this thing because it's yellow. I'm just not a yellow kind of person. Yellow is probably my least favorite color. So with that, I just put a little Half Moon Mod drip tip on there, and it's looking pretty nice. This one is kind of like gold and brown and like a little bit of a translucent color as well. So I think it looks a lot classier on this thing. And I matched it up with the Snowwolf because it's got some gold accents in it, and just tried to make, you know, the best of a bad situation for myself personally. One thing that really surprises me about the Riftcore Duo so far is the flavor. It is really, really good. The flavor on this one is excellent, and it doesn't have any sort of bad taste whatsoever. Even though the resistance is jumping around, I get no dry hits, I get no bad flavors whatsoever. I can't even taste the cotton at all, and that was from Rip number 1. And usually I'm pretty particular about which cotton I like to use and what I wick my RDAs and RTAs with, but I just left the cotton that was in there when I opened the box and just dripped a little bit of juice on there, filled up the tank and let her rip, and I'm getting good flavor since puff number 1. So this is normally where I would do some shout outs for you guys, but today we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do some Q&A, a little question and answer time from the people over on the Daily Vape TV Cloud Crew group. And if you guys want to join that group, link is right down there in the description. But if you prefer to email me your shout out request or your question, then just dailyvapetv@gmail.com. Ask me whatever you want. Shout outs, tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me your vaping story, tell me who you want me to shout out, or anything else you want to tell me there. But I will get to it at some point for one of these vlogs here. Let's go ahead and get started here with Mo Bartram's question. He asks, what's your favorite all-time build? If that's already been answered, what's your biggest vaping fail? Well, I'll answer both because you are the first question, Mr. Mo Bartram, Mr. Vaping with Mo Bro. A favorite all-time build changes a lot because, you know, I don't really have the skills to build some of the crazier coils. So a few of my friends will build me some really sweet coils, especially Coil Image. He's a big time supporter of me and he gives me a ton of really awesome coils to try out. But, I mean, obviously it depends on what you're putting it in, you know, RTA, RDA, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say just kind of in general, my favorite build at the moment is probably the frame staple, just because you get a really good like flavor out of that. I feel like for my style of vaping, it is a great coil. And as far as specs are concerned, I really can't extrapolate on that too much because I would be happy with pretty much anything. Frame staples are just kind of the generic sort of genre of build, I would say. That would be my favorite. But as far as my biggest vaping fail, well, I've got a couple of them and they've all been on camera. So I'd say one of them would be building the Pulse wrong, the Pulse 22, because I got so many people complaining about that video. Wow, that was a big time fail on my part. I've failed a couple other times on camera. The recoil, that was another big fail, and I never will hear the end of that till the day I die. Dwayne will never let me live that one down. But I've failed a couple of builds. I've failed a lot of builds, really. I just, you know, for some reason, I just cannot master ribbon wire. I don't know what it is about ribbon wire, but that just completely escapes me. That's why I heavily rely on my friends and the lovely Chinese companies that are coming out with some of the more exotic coils nowadays to supply me with my frame staples. But I failed the, what was it? The Flat Bastard coil for the series build. That was a pretty bad fail. I mean, some people might consider the video where I did the folded mesh wire a fail, the Kevlar coil, but I still consider that one a win, especially considering I vaped on it for an entire week after that, and I actually managed to shove a dual coil, one of those builds, in a goon, so I kind of still consider that one a win. But as far as the video was concerned, it was a little bit, not the best. But I think the biggest fail would probably be the Pulse 22. Yeah, I got a lot of bad comments for that one and a lot of thumbs down, but what are you gonna do? The next one comes from Isa Khaleesi, and he asks, what do you do when your face itches because your beard is making your face dry? Hashtag bearded man problems. Well, Isa, there's a quick and easy answer to this one, and that is beard oil. Beard oil is amazing for a multitude of reasons. It's basically like leave-in conditioner for your beard. You know, you rub about a, you know, nickel-sized portion of it on your hand and just kind of rub it in, and then just kind of basically almost itch your face afterwards, and you can comb it through and all that. But that right there will be a miracle for you, because not only will your beard stay nice and, you know, neat during the day and it'll feel nice and soft, but also it conditions the skin underneath as well. So that's kind of the biggest reason you would use beard oil in the first place. It's not so much for the beard softness, it's more for the skin underneath, because when, you know, you take a shower or you wash your beard or anything like that, you know, anytime that you have like your beard kind of covering your face, it's gonna eventually start itching because your skin's going to dry out underneath. But beard oil actually kind of adds a little bit back to your skin. It adds those oils back in and it prevents itching. So beard oil, bro. It's awesome. Go get yourself some right now. Next one is from Michelle Lynn Dime Mods. She says, okay, anything. How about, hey Nick, did you know Mobro's real name is actually Steve? Well, that actually comes from a Savs episode that I missed. I was not on that week, and they had Mobro on and Michelle Michelle could not remember Mo's name for the life of her, so she just started calling him, I think it was Dave. I think that's what it was, but yeah, now that's just kind of a running gag with her. Jay Samples asks, have you ever tried the Alpha BFT, and what are your thoughts on 30mm RTAs? Well, Jay, I don't have the Alpha BFT, and as far as 30mm RTAs goes, I only have one, and it's called the Modfather, and it's been out for quite some time now, probably about 3 or 4 years, I want to say. And that one, I still really haven't mastered the wicking on it. For some reason, it just keeps dumping the entire contents of the tank all over my mods, no matter what I do. I even sat down with a guy for a day, just kind of going over different wicking and all that. I had him build it for me and everything. Regardless, 30mm RTAs, I mean, if you can get them to wick properly, if you can get them working without dumping the entire contents all over your mod and all that, then that's awesome, you know. But personally, I can't facilitate the need for that much juice in a tank. You know, I'm perfectly happy refilling my tank at least, you know, 1 time a day. If I have to do it 5 times a day, that's super annoying, but once a day is fine with me, and that way I don't run the risk of dumping, you know, 10 to 12, 15 mils of juice all over my mods. The next one is from Mobro once again. He asks, is a zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes? Well, this is a tough one. You know, it's kind of a glass half full, glass half empty sort of thing, and I guess it depends on your perception of it, but I'm gonna say white with black stripes because I've always just kind of envisioned white with black stripes being a thing with zebras. I'm not sure if it's science or anything like that. I just feel like they are more white than they are black, and I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to Google zebras because I want to take a look and see for myself, and I'm gonna try to envision them black with white stripes, but that's gonna be like one of those like mind blown sort of things. But that's a really good one for a random question of the day. Mo, I will absolutely give you credit for that when I use it, but I'm definitely gonna use that for a random question of the day sometime. The next one's from Ricardo Lobo Moral, and he asks, are you a top or a bottom? Well, now we're getting a little bit personal there, Mr. Ricardo. He says, to clarify, do you prefer an RDA with top or bottom airflow? LOL. Well, good one. I prefer bottom airflow personally. I absolutely love the Reload RDA. Demo got me one of those things, and I am in love with that thing. I love my Kennedys. This is my Ruby mod here that I've been using, and I absolutely love it. So I'm definitely a bottom airflow guy for the most part. You know, as far as top airflow, I mean, top airflow, it's still kind of like a quirky thing. You know, I feel like a lot of people are kind of working on solutions to top airflow problems, but we haven't quite got there yet. Whereas with the bottom airflow, it's kind of just shoot the airflow up at the bottom of the coil and it goes around and straight through the drip tip, problem solved. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of work to do in both departments though. So I kind of want to see what people do, designers and whatnot, with top airflow and with bottom airflow. And I'm just excited for the future of those two kind of designs. So Dave LeMaestro asks, if you throw a kitten out of the window of your car, does it become kitty littering? Oh, the dad jokes. Oh, Dave, leave the dad jokes to Demo. Do yourself a favor, don't quit your day job. Jeffrey Miller asks, what are some of your other hobbies besides vaping? And actually, most recently I've been getting really into gaming, and I've got an Xbox One that I've been playing, and I'm kind of a completionist, so I'll just go through in 100% every single game that I have available. And one of the worst things about Xbox One is that you can just buy an entire game right from the Microsoft store, and you can just spend all your money. You don't even have to leave your house anymore. But I went through Grand Theft Auto 5 really quickly. I've already beaten that one on regular Xbox 360 before, so that one was really easy for me. I went through Infinite Warfare. I beat Sniper Elite 3. I beat Just Cause 3. I beat, let's see, Prey, Watch Dogs 2, and now I'm on Far Cry 4. And I know that's an older game, you know, some of these are older games, but whatever. I just like gaming. I would say in general, I like the shooter genres. I like horror, and and I like a little bit of sci-fi. I mean, not so much like the Halo stuff, but more or less like Prey. Prey is a really good game. If you guys have never played Prey, I would highly recommend it. It's like a future space horror kind of craziness, and oh man, it's a really difficult one as well. I think it took over like 30 hours for me to complete, but yeah, and you have a lot of choices that affect the outcomes and all that. It's really cool. So yeah, gaming is definitely becoming a big thing for me. I'm actually considering buying a capture card and just starting to do some game streams on a separate channel. I might make an actual games channel or something like that. So you know, let me know what you guys think. If you want me to do that, just drop a comment. But moving on, we have Noah Martin asking, RDA, RTA, or RDTA, which do you prefer? What device is your favorite and why? Well, this is a tough one. In general, I'd say RDA. I'm an RDA guy through and through. I like dripping. I mean, everything except for the Riftcore Duo that I'm vaping on right now is an RDA. So I'm going to say I'm mostly an RDA guy. But, you know, from time to time, I do enjoy the newest, latest, and greatest in tank technology. So RTA. And I was never really a big RDTA guy. I just can't really get into it. I just don't understand, you know, them most of the time. I would prefer something like a tank over an RDTA, unless it has something absolutely revolutionary. But and he asked what device is my favorite. I'm not sure if he means mod, but if that's the case, currently my current favorite mod is the Defiant Designs TS. You guys have seen this time and time again. You know all about it. You know what it is. It's a mechanical triple battery squonk mod, and it's got a 10 mil capacity in the bottle, so I am absolutely loving that one for my daily driver sort of setup, and that's just my go-to kind of grab-and-go sort of mod. Jimmy Clark asks, Village People or George Michael? Well, the Village People just remind me of being at a wedding and just doing those stupid dances and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I could take or leave Village People, honestly. It doesn't really matter, but George Michael, you know, he's got Faith. Faith, man. Faith is an awesome song, so I think George Michael wins this one. Dwayne Rodur, aka Homeboy OC, asks, do you wipe front to back? Well, Dwayne, I wipe side to side, so there. Chuck Allen wants to know, without constant maintenance, do those ear-stretchy things really emit an unbearably foul odor? Well, you said the key phrase there, Chuck. He says, without constant maintenance. I mean, they require maintenance. I take mine out every single day and wash them in the shower, so my ears do not stink whatsoever. But if you let them go for a couple of days, yeah, they get pretty gross. But just like anything else, you know, your armpits or your ass crack or anything else on you, it's gonna stink if you don't wash it. So do yourself a favor. If you're gonna have piercings, if you're gonna have that sort of responsibility, then take care of them. You know, don't just let them go, because that's gross and you're giving all of us a bad name out there. So yeah, everyone that doesn't wash their earlobes on a daily basis, then I would really kind of second guess your overall hygiene. Richard Smith asks, when you get dressed, is it sock sock shoe shoe or sock shoe sock shoe? Well played, sir, because this was a random question of the day, and I believe I've already covered this one. It's sock sock shoe shoe. I mean, seriously, I only feel like people that do sock shoe are just psychopaths or something, because I have never seen anyone do it that way. But someone in the comments to that video said, duh, it's shoe shoe sock sock, and I thought that was really funny. Or sock sock sandal sandal. That was a good one too. But yeah, I love you guys, man. You guys are hilarious and you crack me up. Tony Branchick asks, who cuts your hair? Well, Tony, actually, my mom cuts my hair, and she does a pretty darn good job, if you ask me. I mean, you know what? It's as simple as just shaving the sides and the back. You know, I'm losing a little bit in back anyways, so there's not much hair to cut. But with that, yeah, she's been out of the country with my dad. They're actually touring Europe right now on a fancy riverboat cruise, so I haven't been able to get a haircut in a while, and I desperately need one. Dom Bazzalo asks, do you think about me in your free time? I think about you. Yeah, of course, Dom. Love you, man. Love you, buddy. Always thinking about my fellow New England vapors out there. And hope you're doing well, man. Jeffrey Miller chimes in again with, would you let Joel sleep at your place if he gets the boot? Well, this is actually a reference to Vape Stew from last Friday, where we did a this or that question that got a little bit out of hand. And you know what? Joel, I would let you sleep at my place. You can crash on the couch anytime. Zachary Johnson asks, have you tried the Alliance 46mm RDA from Vaporgate and Fogwind? No, I have not. I have seen a lot of their crazy ass RDAs, and I kind of want one for myself. Not to review or anything like that, and really not to ever use all that much, but just for the sheer crazy factor of it. I kind of want to make one of those giant mods. I've been seeing a ton of just massive mods lately, and I just kind of want to make one. I have this deep down desire to just make some crazy setup with like 48 batteries and a giant RDA on there and just blow some massive clouds. You guys know me all too well. I would have a ton of fun with that thing and just put some crazy ass coils in it. So that was some Q&A for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this little kind of diversion from the norm. And if you guys have any future questions, or if you want to shout out for yourself or someone you know, email me at dailyvapetv. I will get to you at some point in time during one of these vlogs. All right, guys, it's time to talk about what I've been vaping on this past week. I've got a few cool setups to show you guys here. First and foremost, we're going to start with this one here, the Snowwolf Xfeng with the Joyetech-Riftcore-Duo on top of there. Half Moon Mods drip tip on the very tippy top. And inside the tank, we've got some nasty juice. This one is Wicked Haze, one of my favorites. And big shout out to my boy Eunice from Nasty Juice for hooking me up at CVE. But yeah, Nasty Juice, man, it's really good stuff. If you haven't tried it, make sure you go out there and give this stuff a shot, especially if you like menthol, because almost all of their flavors contain menthol, but you know what? They're really good. Next up, we've got the Omboyosi and Desire Designs Rage box mod with the Hellvape-Drop-Dead-RDA on top of there. And I've been testing this thing super hard all week long, absolutely loving it so far. And yeah, this is kind of my grab and go sort of setup. And inside the juice bottle here, we've got some Tree of Life Peach by The Vaporist. And I will link you guys in the description below, but I didn't bring the bottle to the office here, so unfortunately I can't show it off. But it's an excellent peach flavor for all of you fellow peach lovers out there. It's a very natural tasting peach. It doesn't have a lot of that over the top sort of sweetness or, you know, kind of gummy kind of taste to it at all. It's more of like a natural juicy peach, almost like a peach nectar or something like that. Really, really good stuff. The next one I've got for you guys, I dug out of the old vape vault. This is the Ruby 270 by Kennedy, and this is, of course, the hybrid RDA and mech mod built into one, which is awesome. This is my murdered out setup, and this thing hits like a freaking freight train because it's a copper cord mod, and, you know, Steve Kennedy, in my eyes, can basically do no wrong. This thing is amazing. I absolutely love this setup, and this is one of my kind of FDA-proof sort of mods here. You know, I always have a stash of mech mods just in case. You know, everything else can break, all of my regulated mods, and I will still have my ride or dies here. So with that, I've got some coil image coils under the hood. Those are some Nichrome 90 quad core aliens that my buddy Jimmy made me. So big shout out to Coil Image. Make sure you check them out on Instagram. And they are metering in pretty low. I can't really test these because it's a hybrid mech, but I'm guessing somewhere around the 0.09 area. They are beautiful because they are 6 wraps, 3mm, and not only do you get really good vapor production, but the flavor is on point as well. Speaking of flavor, I've got some Dinner Lady Summer Holidays Black Orange Crush. It's a black currant flavor, and it's just delicious. I just love black currant. Everything black currant. Give me everything black currant. And last but not least, we have my Fresh Build Friday setup, which is the Dulldime number 20, the Altoids tin box made by Michelle Lynn. This thing is amazing, and I am so appreciative of it. It's a dual parallel box, running some Sony VTC5As in there. And I've got a old school Patriot RDA on top. This is kind of my, you know, throwback sort of setup here. This is an original Patriot. It's authentic, and, you know, this is the one that I pined over for the longest time when I was just first starting to get into rebuildables. I had probably 3 or 4 different clones of this thing, and they all kind of just never really stacked up quite right with me, but this is the original, man. This is basically what started my love for dripping and RDAs and building and everything in the first place, so I am just so happy to have this thing in my collection. But we've got a Half Moon Mod 510 tip up top there that doesn't really match, but whatever. You know what? It's a cool tip, and I just can't stand any metal tips or anything, so I just slapped that one up there. The flavor that I've got running in right now is Nashi V2 by Juice Guys. These guys right here that provided me with this shiny shirt. Thank you once again for that, Juice Guys. But yeah, Nashi V2, it's a caramel and Asian pear. Oof, that is good stuff. And surprisingly enough, this thing with these tiny little airflow holes that you probably can't even see on camera, little bitty airflow holes provide a really good vape. It's a very warm, I'd say hot vape, but really it's just my style. I'm loving it, and yeah, let's just go ahead and have a vape off this one. So it's a very restricted draw, so this thing gets pretty darn warm, but the flavor is just out of this world. But that's it for all the setups that I've got this week. Let's go ahead and move on. It's vape mail time! Yay! Time for me to unbox my vape mail for the week, and I am super excited. You guys have no idea how difficult it is to save up my vape mail for the week just to unbox it live on camera for you guys, but I'm sure a lot of you out there rush home when you get vape mail in. You're checking that tracking number 80 bajillion times and making sure it shows up at your doorstep, and when you get home you just rip it all apart and get to enjoy it right away. But the time is now for me to get to enjoy this moment, so... And I kind of like doing it on camera because, you know, it gives my pure reaction, my first impression of something. And yeah, let's check this one out here. All right. Ooh. So... yeah, all right. I knew this one was coming, and most of the time I have like kind of an inkling of what stuff is, but it's where I have multiple DHL packages that I get all mixed up because, you know, they all kind of look the same and none of them say really what it is on the outside of the box. This one is actually from my buddy Miguel. He is the sole distributor in North America for Alliance Tech. We actually took a look at these at CVE, and this thing is gorgeous. This is the Flav Tank batch number 2, 24 millimeter, and let's just go ahead and give you guys an idea of what we're talking about here. This thing is kind of what I would consider high-end. I believe it's about $130 US for this thing, so it's a bit pricey, but just look at how gorgeous that is. That thing is, oh, I cannot wait to vape on this one. It's a gorgeous little piece of kit. This is a squonkable RDTA, and I know I mentioned that I'm not a huge RDTA fan, but the configuration of this one and just how unique it is really just does it for me. I actually got to try the 22 millimeter version, and I'm really excited to try out the 24 for myself. Really, a lot of innovation goes into this one. It's got little cutouts right here for you to kind of position your coil just right, and it's basically a single coil RDTA, and you just drop your cotton down into there, and you can also squonk it. So it comes with a squonk pin as well, which I will definitely be taking advantage of there. But he sent me a couple of extras as well. Looks like a black cap as well as a clear tank section and a black drip tip section. So that is awesome. Thank you so much, Miguel, for this. I just want to build this right now and start vaping it because I have been excited for this thing to come in all week long. Well, what do you know? We have a DHL bag, and this thing is pretty heavy. And yeah, this is another one that I know what it is because it's my only DHL shipment this week. But let's go ahead and carve our way in, shall we? All right. Whoop, we have a box. Oh, look, it says Daily Vape TV on it. That's awesome. All right, so this one's from Sigeli. There we go. And we are in. You know, this knife is a lot easier than the box cutter or scissors that I have. So we have packing material. Okay, we have a Skycar mod. Skycar. Oh yeah, this is the one I saw. I've seen this one on Instagram. I'm dying to get my hands on this thing. Let's see what else. We have the Xfeng tank kit. Okay, so Xfeng. I have not really heard too much about this one, to be perfectly honest with you guys, but hey, it's something different, something new. And last but not least, we have their Cobra. So Cobra kit, that's kind of neat. Kind of a funky looking design. Looks a lot like the iPriv from Smoke, but let's just go ahead and unbox these one by one here. So let's just take a real quick look. Taking a look. Making a mess on the floor with all this stuff everywhere, but hey, for science. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. So this thing, I don't know what they're really like thinking in China right now with all these like crazy, ridiculous looking mods. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan. I know some of you out there are gonna probably love this thing, but I am just not a fan of the looks of this thing already. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, it has nothing to do with performance whatsoever, but it just does not meet my aesthetic pleasure there. But it just kind of reminds me, if you just take an action figure and rip off their legs and arms and everything and just stick a tank on top, that's what this would look like. So just kind of put that in your head real quick and just kind of picture that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this Xfeng kit. We've taken a look at the Xfeng and the Vfeng. So now we're on to the Xfeng. All right, and boop, we are in. Oh, okay, well, once again, I like everything on this thing except for this ugly wolf on the back. It is very much protruding off the back of this thing, and it's like metal. Oof. Not the most comfortable thing in the world. Man, you were so close with this one, guys. So close. Just take off that stupid thing on the back, and you have yourself a pretty decent looking device here. But, I mean, just look at the front. The front looks nice, looks elegant. You know, it's metal, feels nice and solid. Screen, kind of the run-of-the-mill, kind of what we're used to. Maybe a teeny tiny bit bigger, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tank. Tank. Okay, so yeah, they're basically going for what everybody else is doing right now. $10 says it's a mesh coil. Let's see here. No, it's a wire coil. All right, I lose that one, but well, I guess that could be a thing. I really feel like they should have done a mesh coil because I just think that is really what's going on right now with the industry. I feel like mesh is just like the newest, latest, and greatest, and they need to jump on that bandwagon or else they're going to miss out. And last but not least, we have the Skycar mod. So let's just take a quick look at this one as well. And this is kind of the one I was most interested in. You know what? I've seen a bunch of pictures of this thing online, and I've been really looking forward to getting my hands on one. So, taking a quick first impressions look. Oh, all right. So this is kind of the more sensible look that I'm talking about here. It's a little bit boxy, yes, but overall it's fairly plain. You know, a little bit of a design element to it. It's a really nice pearl kind of white finish. A little plasticky kind of on the outside there. Maybe that's metal. Can't tell. This is a potentiometer mod here, and it says wattage on the actual potentiometer, but I feel like it's working in voltage, and I'm going to have to do a little bit more homework, but I feel like that's what I'm looking at here. I could be wrong. But either way, it does have a little kind of potentiometer kind of dial there, and a button, and a 510 connection, so yeah, it's fairly run-of-the-mill, other than the fact that there's no screen on it anywhere. But that actually might be a good thing because it could save on battery life. So I'm really not too upset about that, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And overall, I would say I'm mostly looking forward to trying this one out. But there you go. That is the vape mail for this week. All right, guys, it's time to cap it all off with a random review, and this week is another one from across the pond. This is Nasty Juice Wicked Haze. This is one of my top 3 from Nasty Juice, and my boy Eunice from Nasty Juice actually hooked me up with my top 3 at CVE, so once again, big shout out and thank you goes to you, Eunice. You are the man. I really do appreciate it. I've got it loaded up here in the Joyetech-Riftcore-Duo, so before we even read the flavor profile or anything, I just want to have a quick puff. All right, so let's take a look at their website. First of all, this is available in 60 ml bottles as well as 10 ml TPD bottles. I will provide you guys with the 60 ml link down in the description below, but these 60 mls are going to go for $19 US, which is actually a pretty good deal if you ask me. Blend is 70-30 and it comes in 0, 3, and 6 milligram. So let's just go ahead and read. The quick flavor description is blackcurrant and lemonade soda, and the longer version says, this time we come up with a widely favored flavor, a mix of blackcurrant and lemonade that creates an incredibly extraordinary exhale taste. Lemonade layer is perfectly blended without overdoing it, creating a heavenly feel. Taste the blackcurrant when you inhale and the non-brackish lemonade when you exhale. You will definitely be impressed at first inhale. To us, this combination is just perfect. Well, let's go ahead and real quick, just take another puff. So I'm absolutely obsessed with blackcurrant flavors lately, and this is definitely one of my top favorites because it mixes two really good flavors. Blackcurrant is a really nice tart, almost kind of sour taste, and then lemonade kind of adds that little tiny bit of sour and a lot of sweetness as well. So it is really a good combination with this one here. It is, however, a little bit masked by the menthol. There's a ton of menthol in this one. It does say on their website that a low mint and no menthol version is available. So that's kind of unique as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could get this one without menthol if I wanted to order some myself, but the one that I have here does have quite a bit of menthol to it. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't mind a little bit of menthol, then this one is definitely going to be for you because I feel like it's very appropriate with menthol in it because you kind of think lemonade, you kind of think cool, you think summery, you think, you know, a good kind of refreshing sort of flavor. And that's exactly what you get with this one with the menthol added to it. But I kind of want to try the non-menthol version myself just to kind of see the difference in it. And overall, I feel like if you enjoy a slightly cooler build, this is probably going to be for you because the blackcurrant flavor tends to be a little bit on the delicate side. So you don't want to kill that off with a lot of heat. I feel like you're going to kill off that flavor pretty much altogether and you're just going to get nothing but straight up just cold menthol. And, you know, I feel like the more you heat up a menthol flavor, it's going to just get colder and colder to you. So just keep that in mind when you're vaping on this one. I feel like it's really good right now. I mean, at 70 watts on this thing, it's pretty darn good. So let's just go ahead and have one more puff. Now this one is sweet, but it's really not over the top sweet. It's not like pucker your mouth sort of sickeningly sweet, like you have to brush your teeth right after you vape it sweet. It's appropriately sweetened because, you know, once again, you think lemonade, you want that, you know, just the right amount of sweetness, and that's exactly what this one is. So really, really, really good stuff here. If you guys like a blackcurrant flavor, if you've never tried a blackcurrant flavor, then this is probably a good place to start. So I would definitely recommend it to you guys out there. But if you want to pick one up for yourself, then I'll leave a link right down there in the description below. So that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about any of the topics that we talked about in this video here. Also, check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the description below. And if you're feeling generous, you can sign up for my Patreon. The link is right down there. And if you don't want to pay monthly, then you can give me a one-time donation on my PayPal link, also right down there in the description below. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.